if you were, say, to do an hour of meditation every day, there's still 23 hours in every day. And with exercise, there's this American fitness jiu-jitsu guy who I really admired. And the amazing thing about this time we live in is I could just, I've been admiring his work for ages, and my wife bought me a personal consultation with him on Skype for one of my birthday present a while ago. So there I was, talking to this guy. It was so cool. I loved it. And he said, he's called Steve Maxwell. He's a really great guy for physical fitness. He said to think about exercise as a pyramid. That at the top here you've got, and this is not the type of pyramid we've been making. This is something slightly different, or a triangle, whatever. That at the top here you've got intense exercise, really, really high intensity exercise, and then down. Then it kind of gets lower and lower down as you go down. So what he was recommending in life as an approach to health and fitness was to do a small amount of really intense stuff, and then you do a lot of low level activity, and that was the way to this is your kind of time in the gym or something, or you're working out, or this might be your meditation practice, this little intense bit up here. But then the rest of the time, if you went to this is you going to the gym, and then the rest of the time you sit at a desk. You're either sitting at a desk, sitting on a sofa watching TV, or lying in bed. Then you're doing this intense bit, but then the low level activity you're not doing. So the same with the meditation. You might be in a situation where you wake up every morning, you do half an hour meditation before you go to work, and then you're just in this massive chaotic unconscious day of frantic stuff, and then you get home, drink 4 beers, and then fall asleep, and then you just repeat. So, and that is not a kind of harmonious picture of doing it. That you want to have a small amount of this really intense practice, and then as you come down here, you've got a larger quantity of low level stuff. So if you think about that with this sort of the rest of the day, what are you doing with the rest of your time here in the day? And so you're not aiming for this level of intensity all day, okay? Because if you were doing that, it would be very difficult to do a job. I mean, so some people just want to increase that little space there of intensity to their whole lives, and some people do that, and they go and live in a cave or monastery, or they go on retreats for years and years and years. So I mean, it is something people do, and if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But if you don't want to do that, and you want to live a more normal life, but still live a life that's informed by meditation and coming from that place, then you want to repeat lots of low intensity practice here. And this is what I was talking about. The more you practice, you wake up quicker with the awareness. So if your kids are driving you crazy or something, you just coming back to awareness, in the moment. And so in the Tibetan Dzogchen tradition, they have this saying that short moments repeated many times becomes continuous. So short moments of just checking in, like, where am I coming from in this moment? Am I rejecting this moment? So if you take this moment right now and you just feel into this moment, and you'll notice that there's your identity as awareness, which is completely at home with all of this that's happening. And you can test this, okay? So just nicely stroke your arm like this, okay? And then notice how your awareness just effortlessly picks that up, okay? And then your personality is kind of enjoying that, yeah? Now, don't do this really hard, but just now pinch. So it's just slightly unpleasant, okay? And you'll notice that you're just as aware of that as you were the stroking. Your awareness is not rejecting that sensation at all. But your personality is a little bit like squirming and uncomfortable, okay? So both of those things are happening at the same time. So with these short moments, one thing you could do is, there was a time in my life where I was seriously practicing something called lucid dreaming, where you train yourself to, when you are dreaming, you recognize that you're dreaming and you wake up in your dream and you're like, oh, I'm in a dream. Crikey. You know, this is amazing. Has anyone had that experience? Yeah? It's good. It's called a lucid dream. When you become lucid in a dream, you realise you're dreaming when you're dreaming. Okay, and you can train yourself to do that. And this was before mobile phones and stuff. When I was doing this, I had a wallet, and it went inside my wallet. I had a little card that said, "Am I dreaming?" And I'd perform what they call a reality check. There, so say roughly 10 times a day, I'd open my wallet for whatever reason, and I'd see this thing, and I'd stop and I'd perform a reality check. And for the lucid dreaming, one of the things was, you look at a digital clock like that, you look away, you look back at it, and in a dream it won't be the same. So I had a dream once I was catching an elevator. I looked at the floor numbers on the elevator, and it was like 7. I looked away, looked back at it, and it was all Roman numerals. And I was like, whoa, okay, I'm dreaming. I'm in a dream. So then you're awake in your dream, and then the possibilities are endless when you wake up in your dreams. So what you could do, so that eventually, so this is just a prompt, that sign, am I dreaming? But eventually it becomes an automatic habit, so that when you start performing reality checks just spontaneously, and then the idea is that eventually you perform a reality check in your dream. You perform the check, you realise you're dreaming, then boom, you're awake in your dream. Okay? So it's similar with but you might have as the wallpaper on your phone or something, whatever's going to work for you, moment of awareness or something. Are you awake? Where are you coming from right now? Who are you? Whatever is your prompt. So that every time you open your phone, you actually take that seriously, and you perform that check. And then eventually, you don't need, this is the crutch, this is the stabilizers on the bike to get you going, but eventually it just becomes a habit to remember. So part of this, it's not difficult to it's quite simple to get in to do this meditative state of awareness, but the hard thing is remembering. Okay, remembering is waking up, and it's quite so easy to get basically sleepwalk through your life. Yeah, your life becomes almost like a dream. You're not really aware of it happening almost. You're just, like in a dream, when you're not aware that you're dreaming, you're just blown around by circumstances.
When does that happen, sorry? What does that mean, if you're just blown around?
So, in life, if you're not... No, it's a good question. Have you had the experience of driving, and all of a sudden you realise you just have... it's like 10 minutes have passed, you've driven quite a long way and you don't even know what's gone on. Life can be like that sometimes. It's like you're not actually present to your own life as it's passing. So any technique you can use to remind yourself to take a moment and check in with where are you coming from. But the important thing to remember is that, okay, if we're thinking about our triangle, you've got your personality here, your formlessness, your formless I amness here, and then up here you've got what we've been calling the non-dual, okay, where both of these are sort of simultaneously present. So what we're not trying to eradicate your personality systematically through your life. Your personality is just fine as it is. You know, you don't need to, from the point of view of awareness, you're not trying to manipulate your personality from here. Personal work, you know, you do all of that stuff and that's fine. You know, have friendships and relationships and do therapy and all of those sort of things. But this is a whole other thing, and they happen simultaneously. So if you check in a moment, see if you can, like we did with the pinching and the stroking, feel the kind of expansive, transparent openness that is your I amness. And this is just a great symbol for that part of yourself. So this is just a dead, unconscious piece of glass, but imagine this is awake and aware of what's inside it. Yeah? Okay? So transparent, formless I amness. So in any moment, you can feel into that part of yourself. So are you aware? Is everybody aware in this moment? Yeah? You can all hear this. You see? So you're aware right now. Okay? And it's noticing that. And then also from that place, you can actually feel and notice what you might call your personality happening at the same time. That's trying to push a certain experience away or pull another one towards it. And you can feel both things are happening at the same time. That complete at homeness that this has in any moment. And then the kind of grasping and pushing away is happening at the same time. And are you trying to are you exclusively identifying with one or the other? What's it feel like to actually do both simultaneously? And it's not something, it's so difficult to describe how to do this, but it's a paradoxical thing. You're doing two things at the same time, and it seems like they're two contradictory things. And it seems like when you explain it in words that you couldn't do two things at once. But actually when you look at your experience in any moment, you are doing both of those things simultaneously right now. Does that make any sense, or have I said something ridiculous. Anything anyone wants to add?
Well, I read, I know loads of meditation techniques, and I read one about where you imagine there's a crystal ball here, and you just, I think it's Sama Arahan or something you keep saying over and over, while you're awake in your normal everyday life, so you're focusing on this crystal ball whilst operating in the world, and it really gives you a sense of just being present, but you're interacting with the world still.
Yeah, that's good. So one thing that confused me for a long time was people would talk about awareness being located in the heart. Okay, so there are some people that talk about this. As Douglas Harding talks about headlessness, which is a really good one. I won't go into it now, but that you don't have a head. All of this is where your head is. Yeah, all of this inside where your head is. But there's a Japanese and Chinese word. It's my pronunciation is going to be totally terrible, but shin in Chinese and kokoro, something like that in Japanese, and it means heart/mind. It's a word for heart, mind in one. So in English we've got mind and heart, two separate words. They have a word for mind and a word for heart, but they also have a word that is heart, mind. And you can actually feel, like, so when I was saying that this feels like it's at the centre, your centre, the centre of your identity, feels like this. And the more you do this, you'll feel, it can feel like it's in your head or something. But then the more you do it, you'll actually feel it's more inside your centre, your whole being. So you'll actually feel like the world is inside you. It's an actual kind of physical, emotional feeling. Because there's so much space, because your awareness is formless, it has no limit on its capacity to contain this moment and everything that arises inside. So that is how to embody the paradox of emptiness and form in any moment, is to feel the form filling your emptiness. So I'm going to leave it at that in terms of what I'm going to say, because I could say so much about this, and I've done different activities in this session in the past. Some of, they're all good and interesting. But what we're going to do now, just for the last 15 minutes, is we're just going to sit and see if you can feel in this moment, this part of you that is present to this moment, are completely at home with this. No desire to move out of this moment. And then any uncomfortable feelings and all that stuff, notice that arising, and you know where that's coming from your furry little mammal, which is a beautiful thing, and that's what it does. Your personality has to do all of that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so see if you can feel both of those things happening at the same time.